We are rolling.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Creative Businessmen. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to like and subscribe. We really appreciate your support. On this episode, we have stand-up comic Nick Ciaccia with us. He's a great dude. I think you'll really enjoy the conversation we had with him. We talk about his experience as a comic, some of the things he deals with as a stand-up comedian. We also talk about the economy and even the new metaverse with Facebook. So it's a fun episode. And it goes to some surprising areas, so I think you'll enjoy it. Also, we've got some cool stuff working in the studio right now. We just shot our first sketch, so you guys will probably see that soon, hopefully. And working on some more cool projects, and just hope you guys enjoy them all. Like I said, please like and subscribe. We appreciate the support, and here you go.
Nick runs a new show
that's right.
downtown
Yeah.
that's like super cool.
It is really cool. The greener side at the Green Bean.
I've heard you had some really big show audiences too.
It's
right?
pretty wacky. I've tried to do a show around Greensboro just to learn the stuff,
Yeah.
So I've done I think you went to I did an open mic
Yeah, I used to come to that one.
a few years ago.
Yeah.
That taught me so much. And then when the pandemic happened and stuff, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if I want to do an open mic again because that was a lot. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'd like to, figure out a showcase or something. After a trial, a few air found, I work at the Green Bean, and they were bugging me because I was doing one at a cider bar, and they were like, we want to do something so bad, please. But I did not want to do it where I worked at all. But then I started thinking about it. I was like, the room itself, I was like, this could be really cool.
Yeah, I heard the room's really good. I need to go over there.
Yeah, and I was like, this could be really cool if they're down to do a few things. And they were. I was like, well, you need to buy it. Because I wasn't, after doing a few different things in random bars, I was kind of I just want something that's I don't know, presentable.
Yeah.
Not that I'll do it, I'll do comedy wherever, but just if I'm going to have to be there, I want to be excited about the whole thing.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, I asked them, I was like, you guys going to buy a stage? They're like, we'll buy a stage. And I was like, all right, I might have a curtain.
Nice.
This might work out.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys have, is the crowd, is it usually different people every week or?
Yeah, it's only been, I also wanted to do it just once a month too.
Yeah, that's good.
Because that was another thing the open mic taught me. I was like, so what?
Right.
Once a week? That's crazy. It's a lot of work. And plus when you, in Greensboro, we have the 88 box and it does so much already for me. So I was like, I don't want to every week figure something out. So yeah, once a month. And then the crowd, it's only been about 6 of them so far. So, or 5, 4. That's crazy. I guess it's August, September, October. Yeah. So it's only going to be the 4th one. No, there's been 4. Sorry, I don't know.
You can make up any fucking number.
Yeah,
right
it
now,
doesn't even matter.
So 56.
But we just did a Halloween show, and that was crazy. That was something I've always wanted to do. Which is, I wanted to there's some great comics around here that can do characters and stuff, and that's something I've always
Your makeup
enjoyed.
was awesome too, by the way. I saw some pictures.
I didn't expect
It's right here.
I didn't expect the makeup to be that crazy.
That does look
Yeah,
sick.
it was good, man.
It was crazy. And then Matthew on the side. My idea for my costume was very both of our ideas were very last minute, but we found this lady who was doing makeup next to my friend's studio, and I was like, let's just get our makeup done crazy. And
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, it was awesome. Getting Matthew to put that on his chest I was very excited about that. I was very excited. I was like, you got to get a big old thing. Because he came to watch, and he was thinking about just drawing something himself. I was like, no, let's do this. And then, that show was really awesome. And it's been different people, but what's cool is there's definitely a small following now, too, which is interesting.
That's
so,
good. Yeah.
there's probably I don't know, 10 to 15 people that are there every time or every other time.
Nice.
And then the smallest one we've had so far was only was still 30 people.
That's
That was the
wow,
one
that's
I went
incredible.
to, I think.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah, it was still it wasn't that many people, but it was still good. And I was like, okay, if this is the the bar so far. Okay, this is fun.
Solid. Yeah.
And the Halloween show is super packed. So
What's the most you've had in there? 60?
yeah, about 60 people.
That's cool.
60 people, not comics. So with comics,
Oh,
like
nice.
70 people.
Wow.
That was like the first one, or the second one. The second one was the biggest one by far. And then I got my friend Andrew to do the poster because I don't know, I wanted it to be good. So I was like, I want a good poster and like
Yeah.
a good, because like I don't know,
It looks good too. It's cool.
yeah, marketing kind of matters just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. And he actually came up with the name, which was perfect. The greener side.
So
you
the
know,
green bean.
It's
Yeah.
positive. I went in, I was like, I need something green, I need something positive, and I can't do marijuana off the top. And then so he figured that out.
I think that's slick.
Yes, it's really good.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it's been working out pretty good. It's been messing with like lights. They've gotten like new lights in there, so now that's like I can like change the lighting and the sound's just getting better.
You can tell you didn't have somebody that's really analytical, like business person, set up the day a month that you did it.
Yeah.
Because I would have never picked the last Friday of the month, because that's the time statistically people have the least amount of money.
Really? Well, it's a free show.
Yeah, but the bar makes money, right?
Yeah, they make money. But they still make money, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah,
I'm just like I would have never even thought to do that.
Right.
I would
yeah.
have been like, that's the last day we need to do it. But if it's a free show, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, free show at a coffee bar that has, those people go there all the time too. So
Yeah.
respect.
Actually, the
And
benefit
that
would
place
be
is closed usually during then.
Yeah,
anyway,
they're
so
open
they're-
till 8 on Fridays, but then my show starts. Oh, that was another thing. I was like, I want to do something late.
Yeah, so from 8
Yeah,
to
it's good.
11:30, they're making money that they wouldn't make
Yeah.
right.
otherwise.
Yeah. And on the worst day of the month, so
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at
kind
it.
of a good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've been the first time they didn't really make anything, but every time they've now have either made something or have broken even.
Yeah.
Which, they just wanted to do something.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Forsmans, shout out to the Forsmans.
Those
My
are the owners
bosses.
of the Green Bean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just want to do everything.
Sound like
So-
cool people.
Yeah. It sounds like they're willing to do it even if it's a break even then.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
they're
yeah.
passionate about it. Yeah.
They weren't even that pressured about the money in
That's
the first place, which was really cool.
That's cool.
That's good.
And but yeah, I don't know. That was another thing. It's just like not that many. So many people still don't see comedy in Greensboro, which they should
Yeah.
at the
Absolutely.
Idiot Box. But
Especially as many comics as there are in Greensboro too.
I mean, there's just as many comics as there are humans. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean. It's a rough ask, and then a lot of times, a lot of people will only see one comedy show ever, and then if they go to a bad one, then they don't come out to
I agree with
another
that.
one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and so I don't know. I kind of tried to. I wanted to do something that just like, hey, like this is because I remember when I went to my first one, I was just blown away by like it's happening here. In
Yeah.
the sense of just like there are talented people here.
That's I had the same experience.
Yeah,
With
and
my
it-
first mic, it was like there was 30 some comics there. And I was like, whoa, this is a pretty big scene.
Yeah, no, it was yeah, and just because we have like not a lot of like clubs or anything, like it's still like the work is being done
Yeah.
constantly.
Right.
And so I wanted to do a show downtown and show all these people like, to not have this, I don't know, because I feel people really underestimate this area sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
And they always think you got to go somewhere, which like I, go somewhere, but also like look around
depends
you a
on what
little
you
bit.
want, right? If
Yeah.
I mean, I've been here and I've thought about leaving, and then I decide not to because I get an opportunity, and I get opportunities here I wouldn't get other places, and there are opportunities
Yeah.
I'd get in those places, but I weigh them out, and I enjoy being here and the opportunities that I get here. And
Oh, so much. I remember like after my first coming here at the end of my first year, all I thought was like, I need to, I got to go somewhere. I got to like, do. And then it didn't take long for me to realize between my relationship, the pandemic, and like a bunch of other stuff, I was like, I'm making some excuses, I think.
Yeah.
Because you can milk this place for a lot of things.
Sure.
And that's why I wanted to do a decent show, because I was like, and then hopefully it'd motivate others to put in the effort
Right.
too.
Yeah. More comedy.
More comedy.
More opportunities.
But yeah, just basically, I don't know, that fear of being stagnant is kind of like always looms over me a little bit.
That's good. Yeah.
You went through a bit of a struggle in the first year or two of doing comedy, yeah?
Oh yeah.
And then you kind of hit stride. It looked like it happened all of a sudden for you. You had some sort of revelation.
Yeah, I just was. The first year I was doing it, I loved it so much, but I was just so. I don't even know really.
It was bad.
It was bad. It was so. You don't understand how bad it was. It was really bad. It was like nothing. It was silence for the full 5 minutes for weeks and months, and then it was a lot of nerves. I wasn't even realizing it till after a while. I was like, I'm so nervous. Like I think it was like after like 3 months, Jenny came up to me. She was like, hey, you got to start trying to keep your eyes open. I was like, my eyes are closed? I didn't even know my eyes were closed. But they literally were every single time. They were just like closed and down. And then I'm a very soft-spoken person. So it was a lot of like getting over the nerves.
Yeah.
So I would have to.
And if you're super nervous like that, a lot of times you're not even conscious during that time,
Yeah.
right?
And then
You're not present.
so I was nervous, and then my voice is so low and like monotoned.
Yeah.
And then the way I was writing was so just, I don't know, it was just out there. But then basically I just hit this point of like not caring, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Of like, why am I nervous?
Right.
Like, these are just people,
Yeah.
But then when you see someone be so funny when you're just starting, and then you're so bad,
Yes.
you get a little nervous sometimes. But eventually I just kind of like, I don't know, just was like, I just want to make this fun for myself now,
Yeah.
after like trying for so long. And that's not that I'm not trying anymore, but now I'm just like,
You're being
That's
yourself, and you're not doing an imitation of what you think comedy's supposed
exactly.
Right, yeah.
Because that's basically what it was. It was just an imitation for like a year. And I was like, I got to like,
to look like. And that takes more energy.
yeah, it takes so much more energy. I'm not even in a weird way, but I feel like I think about it less, but do
Yeah,
better.
you settled into yourself.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. Like, I think one thing I've already realized in just doing it for a little bit, I love it because it helps me realize how I think about everything without
Right.
just like not thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it helps you figure out like, oh, this is how I feel about this thing, and making you kind of not judge yourself for feeling that way.
Yeah.
It
It's a
feels
form
good.
of expression.
Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been doing comedy?
3 years today.
Nice.
Today's
Is that
the day.
true?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
3
Oh.
years of sticking to it.
Well, happy.
Dip my toe in a few times. Dip my toe in quite a few times.
Happy anniversary, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's exciting.
It's pretty weird. I actually this was the first time I was like, I'm gonna say I feel good about it. It's been 3 years. Because I definitely tried comedy each iteration of the Idiot Box. So when the Idiot Box was downtown, I did it once.
I remember you.
How could you not? I was wearing jorts. It was weird. But yeah, no, Eric was there my first time. Super nice. But I actually had it recorded too. But I just remember leading up to that night of like, oh, I'm gonna do it, and like I'm like, what's funny? And I'm like, roadside memorials and VR porn. That's that's hilarious. And yeah, but then it was weird. I was imitating. I felt like
Right,
I was
yeah.
imitating comedy. I even dressed a little crazy. I was like, I don't know. And then didn't do it for a while. And then the 80 bucks moved down to the,
Lawn deal.
yeah, on the basement, and like watched a few, and then like went up once or twice. But then
Yeah.
again was like, I don't know. But thank God it changed a third time, because I feel like it was just like, okay, it's a new building. Like, I'll actually try it out more.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of it was just nerves. Honestly, I was very nervous.
That makes sense. In acting, it's kind of like that way too. When I first started acting, I was really nervous
Yeah.
doing scene work and stuff, especially in front of a crowd of people. It's almost debilitating
Yeah.
at first, but then once you get used to it, it's not bad. But then when I started doing comedy, I had some of the nerves again,
Yeah.
but it wasn't as bad as when I started
It
acting.
shifts them around a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything in business that makes either one of you guys feel similar to that? Is there a meeting? Is there there's
No.
nothing that gets in your gut? And
Just
and-
anxiety.
Yeah. That's what that is, though, right? Is there anything that creates anxiety with you?
It's not the same.
No.
It's not the same.
Nerves are like, I've never felt nervous in business.
Really?
I mean, I can get irritated with like we've got situations. I won't speak to what they are specifically, but we got some stuff going on now that is like you could tell I was physically. You could see physically that I'm irritated, right? Some version of that. And that's probably a decent word to use. But we've done it so much when things aren't going as planned, especially because maybe you are, maybe you're not. You're dealing with somebody maybe it's unethical, or maybe they're just. That's frustrating, right?
Yeah.
Those situations have more of an effect, but I don't know about nerves.
I would say it's more of an anxiety. Like early on, you probably have more worry, like fear, anxiety, but that goes away.
Yeah.
Because you get so used to it, you kind of become numb to it.
Yeah. What most people that are starting a business worry about, we don't.
No.
It doesn't even.
You've put in the 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
And so
20,000.
you've seen a lot
20,000.
of 20, yeah. Well, it's always 10,000 what they say, and my nerves change considerably year to year to year.
Yeah.
Now being in your third year, have you noticed? I mean, obviously there's a big difference for you nerve-wise. Yes.
Yeah. Now the nerves just come, like it's like you said, like the nerves shifted. So now it's not necessarily. I'm always just nervous about like I like it so much.
Yeah.
It's almost like nervous out of like I want to like now I just want to like respect it a lot.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to do stuff or something that's like I don't know. It's one thing if I'm just like not funny.
Yeah.
That's fine. But I just don't want to do something that just is like I don't even know what I'm describing, but it's just like this like looming fear of like I just want to like respect.
It goes from am I funny to will I be funny?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you first start, you don't know if you're funny, and that's a different type of nerves. And then you know you are kind of funny, and it's can I be tonight?
Yeah, every single
Yeah.
time.
Every single time.
It's like a nervous energy, like an excited nervous.
Yeah. I think what really started to help me get over the nerves of like, am I funny? And then will I be funny was like, I started doing this thing like right before going on where I'm not really good at like talking myself up in any way. So I kind of like took a minute or two before just in my head, kind of just jerking myself off. Just like you're just, and it kind of worked.
Let me hear some of the things you say.
Well, I actually, he just wanted to watch you jerk off.
Yeah.
You're so big.
There's this thing in the art of the elevator pitch where they talk about sell the product like you already sold the product.
Yep.
And when you only have a minute with the big boss, let's sell it like I already know this is going to work. And one advice I give to comedians is, I ask them, what's the best show? What's the most fun you ever had on stage? Think about that. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it right now because I've trained myself for 5-10 minutes. I used to obsess about my set list, and now what I do is I obsess about a good set.
Yeah.
And I just bring it into my body because when you walk off, when you crush and you walk off, there's no time in the world that you'd rather go back on stage.
Right.
I know I can do it at the highest level right now. Let me have more of it. And so getting yourself in that mindset, your body will trick itself, and then you walk on with the energy of already hitting.
Yeah.
So doing that before you go up, jerking yourself off is a completely good idea.
Yeah.
So it's a good analogy too.
Yeah.
It definitely is. Because, you just think about that, like you're nervous, and then you try to think about that time where it's like, you did amazing. And then you're just like, this is the same thing.
It's proof that you are at least that good.
Yeah.
You can attain that if you can get there, and sometimes you can't, but you're more likely to if you know you can.
And I think like the beauty of it too, at least whenever I do it, is I try to like as soon as it's done, I'm like, all right, time to like shut it off. Like I'm not gonna walk around with this energy of like
big dick energy.
Yeah. And I feel like that's also I don't know, it's nice to like have control over it or try to have control over it.
There's
it's like be proud of yourself, but
there's a psychological thing. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a thing where you do something really well and you get real excited about it. And then the next time you do something, you fuck it up because you're too excited about the previous time.
Exactly.
Instead of being in the moment, you're...
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm not going to lie, right when I started figuring things out, I was like, oh, okay, I'm figuring things out. Yeah. And then, like, as soon as I let those voices in, because, like, I think everyone has it. You have to let those voices in every once in a while where you're like, I figured it out. Yeah. When, like, you never really do. Yeah. But when you let those voices in every once in a while, that's when you're like, oh, man, what are you doing? So that's why I try to shut it down after, because I was like, that was great, thank you. And then I just try to, hang out and have fun without.
You guys talk about the voices and things like that. And,
Yeah.
The Untethered Soul is a book that
Yeah.
you're pretty attached to.
Yeah.
So you understand that a little bit.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I've. It makes you really question like who's talking to you,
Yeah.
and then better yet, if someone's talking to you, who's listening. Right, like it really trips me out sometimes. It's like it's a really interesting thing.
I
It locks
enjoy
me
it.
up. I can't get through the book. I can't get through the book.
I keep telling people. So I bought a few copies
Half
of the book.
half
and
a book of the month club.
yeah, and I've been giving it out, and I've got. It's funny you said that. I've got like 10 more coming, just to give out. But I kind of preface it with everybody like, this is not a book. I read a lot.
Yeah.
And I couldn't read the book in one sitting. I couldn't. It took me multiple sittings across probably 2 weeks to finish the book. And it's a book that I could read in, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours myself. I mean, so you can't read this book like that. So I preface that with everybody. And there's a lot of people that I don't think are ever going to finish it. And if they are, it's I feel like you've got to take each chapter in and then before you can move on to the next one. And sometimes you'll read a page and it hits you. And your mind it takes you to a different place or a different thought or maybe things that you've been thinking about your whole life, but you've kind of repressed it.
Yeah.
So it's really, really interesting. I thought it was really interesting.
It's like a book on introspection, really.
Yeah.
It's just self-awareness.
Yeah. Earlier, I'm going to call back real quick, but earlier, you had said about anxiety and nerves and things, and you were talking about, over time how you kind of won that battle. And I think for me in business, I think what happens is surprises in business are a bad thing,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And what I do is very predictive. Like it's very predictable, rather, what we do. And we've done it so many times. We've really dialed in our standard operating procedures. Like we know we have this little formula of success, and you can pretty much apply it to any business, right? And so we kind of go into things expecting outcomes, even if the outcome is a negative one initially. We expect it, so there's not anxiety related to that. Now, however, like if I'm trading crypto, right? I get that. I get some level of anxiety, some level of stress, right? I'm not really nervous. I think it's more like a excited, nervous energy because really what I'm doing is I'm gambling.
Yeah.
Well, sort of.
So, well, I think what I'm
It's
saying
still
is
kind of predictive, though.
it is, but imagine in business in the very beginning, you're kind of gambling a little bit because you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You don't have a proven record. You haven't figured out. You haven't made enough mistakes yet to have a predictable track record. So on some level, it's a gamble, right? It's
It's unknown.
It's an unknown.
Yeah.
And that creates nerves. And I think in comedy, probably what you
How much money have you lost in crypto?
None.
Exactly.
I mean, overall, yeah.
That's my
I
point.
lost $100 at blackjack 4 days ago.
Yeah, I'm up.
That's gambling.
Yeah, that was straight.
Well, I
gambling.
mean,
He likes that, too.
I do well at blackjack too.
But when he plays blackjack, it's
discipline
almost
thing.
like
Yeah, I play differently.
he's good. Like
I got a blackjack. I'm going to Vegas tonight for a blackjack tournament, actually. So,
Really?
I would actually invest in him for blackjack.
yeah. My
That's how I
life.
feel about me playing roulette. I play it the most boring way possible.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that sits at the middle of the roulette table in a chair, and I only bet on a color or odds and evens. I watch trends. As soon as the trend builds itself to a certain number where the odds are that it has to go the other way, then I start loading heavy. And I've never lost at roulette playing it that way. But it has to be disciplined. You can't want to have fun.
It's a small amounts, right?
So that's the same way I play blackjack, but I have a lot of fun doing
Yeah,
it.
except it's not small amounts.
It's
though.
not small.
Right,
Well, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
doing table minimums. I'm
so-
looking for a $5 table.
I was at a $5 table.
There you go.
Still
You know
lost
why
$100.
the house wins because blackjack, unless you're playing craps a certain way or certain things a certain way, blackjack is probably the most, the best chance that you have at getting a fair shot.
It
right?
seems like a skill-based.
It is. It's skill based. It's definitely something
Against
you
the
can
house.
you can improve at against the house.
Yeah.
You're gonna have you're the best odds, but most people don't understand statistics well enough to get this. But the very watered down version is you're still gonna lose because the casino has more money than you do.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like when the casino, let's say you get a strong run, and let's say you hit the casino for $1 million. Right. And it happens in blackjack. It's a long run, and you got to be betting a substantial amount of money, but you can do it. The casino goes and gets another $1 million. Because what you don't realize is the casino has its own internal line of credit, right? Like they can have $1 billion in chips on the floor. They only are required to keep a certain amount of cash reserves for chips in play, right? So they have their own line of credit that they extend themselves. So to give you they know the math's in their favor. So if you play long enough, you'll win. So this is the problem, right? Like, people don't know when to get up, for one, but two, you think that you can win, and just because you're winning now, you're going to continue to win, and they'll get up a certain amount of money, and you may leave the casino that trip and be up, but if you continue to come back, you know, eventually the math, the odds will work against you, right? And so it's a self-control
So how do
issue.
you deal with that? What do you do?
Self-control.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so for me, I take small victories. Like, I can get down. I've played enough, like, and I can get down, and I think I'm having a lot of fun. So at some level, I'm paying for entertainment. There's an entertainment value there. I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of math. It keeps my head busy. I stop focusing on all my business and all my stuff and all my problems. I'm focused on basically playing blackjack.
So there's a value that you're willing to lose to pay for that entertainment.
That's correct. And that number of loss, and it's an amount of money that I could literally just set on fire and it wouldn't affect my life, right? Like, I could just give it away. Maybe a better analogy is just I could just literally give the money away. Yeah. and so that's the number I'm willing to lose. Yeah. And I have had that happen. I've had trips where I've lost that amount of money, and I've lost that amount of money in the first hour.
Yeah.
Now that's a bad trip, right? Because
leaving at the right time is also a win.
I leave. So that's the key is now at that point, I have to stick to my rules, right?
Right.
So now I got to go.
Yeah.
Which is the problem.
But you've never been in the negative in a year, have you?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No.
Yeah.
So, but now that doesn't mean you're not in the negative in a trip.
Right.
Yeah.
Like this example, like
You
that
can't
does
win
happen.
every trip, but you win most of the trips.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, and what I'm doing is, in blackjack specifically, you have to look when the odds are in your favor, and there are certain times that's the case. You have to be very, very patient, and when the odds in your favor, you get as much money on the table as you can. That's where splits and double downs and all these other things come into play, right? You know, so the other good thing about this is, even if you're, say, breaking even, you're not, because you rack a ton of casino comps.
Right.
Which means if you're...
I have free drinks.
Yeah, well, free drinks, but free $2,500 a night rooms. Flights, shows. I mean, shows are still closed currently,
Watches,
but they're coming
all
back.
kinds of stuff.
But watches.
I only know about the drinks.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, like, you can...
when you're sitting at the minimum table, the
$5 table.
You're lucky if you get free drinks.
It was basically a Coke. I don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they giving you alcohol with it?
Mostly club soda.
Yeah. Sparkling water, right?
Yeah.
It's just old Sprite.
Yeah.
Very.
But I don't know. But I mean, there is a method to it. But how many people are going to go sit down and grind out 12 hours on a blackjack table and break even and be happy about it?
Right.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah, me too.
I have a blast doing it, and I'd be like, I hope I kind of look forward to that. I had 12 hours of...
It's a flow state.
Yeah, it's a flow state.
I pay to not think about
100%.
the things I think about constantly.
100%.
I think for you, blackjack is like it's like me painting or writing.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, I've gotten bad runs. I mean, you get those, but as long as you get up, because the problem is when you get a bad run and you get emotional, you start making bad decisions. You know?
Yeah.
So like you're not thinking the same way if you start to get emotional about it. So, and money's really easy to get emotional about, even if you got a lot of it.
Oh yeah, that's why I took mushrooms the next day after. I lost that $100.
Let's talk about that a little bit. All three perspectives when we talk about
Mushrooms.
Sure.
All right.
When we talk about emotions,
Loss.
right?
Yeah.
So on days that I've had great days or horrible days, that has affected me on stage in one way or the other, and having to learn how to do that. For you, a good day, bad day, and then having to do a show, and then when you're emotional and having to do business, how does that affect you?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I guess as far as like when I go up and it's a good day or a bad day, sometimes, I don't know, sometimes the bad days end up being the better days. Sometimes, but it depends how bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes the bad days will get me just to be like, here's a moment of like it not being bad.
Right.
And sometimes it's so bad that I'm like, I don't even care anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And then the good days, I'm always, when if I go up and it's a good day and I did good, I'm really happy. Because sometimes there's times I have a good day, I didn't do good, but it's okay because it's been a good day.
Right. Yeah.
But those days, I'm the most happy when it's a good day and it goes good that day, rather than if it's a really bad day and it's gone amazing.
Yeah.
Because I think, I don't know, that's when you realize how diminishing those returns can be, because it's like, okay, my life's still, you haven't figured anything else out.
Right. Yeah.
But sometimes that can, I don't know, excel your comedic performance. But I'm really proud of myself when I'm like, oh, it's been a really good day, and I didn't take bad energy to make me do good. I took good energy. I'm really excited when that happens.
That's the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Gary Keller has a book, I believe it's called The One Thing. And there's a piece of that, a snippet that I'm going to grab. And sometimes when I'm having a really bad day, bad mental state, bad whatever, bad juju, there's just bad energy, right? I focus on, like, is there one thing that I could just get done today? Just one. Can I just do one thing today so I can try and have you know what? If I wake up tomorrow and I just did this one thing, that at least I did something, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, on my bad days, that's what I try to do. I try to just say, is there one thing that I can do that needs to be done? And I start with that. And normally what happens is by the time I finish that one thing, I've actually done 7 or 8 or 9 things, right? I'm having a rough day today, right? And so your mental state, it affects you for whatever reason. I get in a negative. If I allow myself to get in a negative state, even though I'm being productive, you're not productive at the same
Makes
level.
you non-productive.
And I pass negative energy on to Neil. I pass negative energy on to other people around me. And it's funny how contagious negative energy is. Whereas positive energy, you have to continually reapply. It's like showering. You need to do it daily to be effective, right?
Yeah.
So that's really interesting how negativity spreads so much faster, right? You have to really work to be positive sometimes. And today has been an interesting day. And then I sit and think about it, like we're talking, and my mind wanders, and I go, what's really so bad about it, right? It's actually to be expected. You can't have only good days.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it definitely affects you. I prefer to work in a positive state and to be a positive influence on other people rather than to be negative and sharing that energy.
Yeah. I think entropy is like a natural law of nature. So everything is trying to break down, and it's easier to tear things down than build things up. So I think that's why positivity is. It takes work. It takes mentality and effort. And I know we've talked about it a little bit with business related stuff. He's like, how do you deal with the stress and stuff? I was like, well, it's always there. Like I think I know with Daniel, probably similar to me, we thrive on anxiety. It motivates us. It's always under the surface, just high levels of anxiety, and that's what pushes us forward. And I do have bad days. I mean, there's days I wake up and I just want to curl up in a ball and just lay in bed all day, and I can't.
Yeah.
I just make myself get up and face it, and it'll be okay. You know, it just sucks to face it sometimes, but you have to. And once you get through that, though, it's better. It's rewarding, and it just makes you better. But I think we all feel these same emotions and feelings. It's just how you deal with them. And I think also we're used to these types of experiences, so it's not as debilitating. But I've had even bad days with comedy where I'm having a bad day in business or some other issue in my life, and I'm just having a really negative, bad day, a difficult day. Don't even want to do comedy, and I just go do it anyway. And now if I do it and I do bad, it just makes my day worse. Then I'm like,
That's the gamble.
Why am I doing this? But if I do it and I do well, then it actually makes me feel better.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll go work out or something too, try to just get my mind off of whatever's bothering me.
It's a great point. I hate that point, but it's a great point. Sometimes I'll go work out and I feel so much better afterwards. Yeah. It's like, but I don't want to admit that because I just don't enjoy working out. Just being honest with you, but
it does work. It works.
It does, man.
I run. I'll just run. I guess I'll just run for a little bit.
Yeah, it's good.
Like if I'm just it's like noon and I'm still in pajamas or something. I'm like, I need to just flip the switch.
Yeah,
that always helps.
Eric invited us the other night to that place is really cool. What was it called?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Skillet.
We went to the Flatiron.
Yeah.
And had some jazz. Very cool. It was actually, and I was having a rough day. I enjoyed that thoroughly. It was a nice little break, and I still had calls. We still had texts. I still had messages going on, but that was it was a cool vibe. Artwork was really nice, and you have that little thing, and all of a sudden your energy. There was a good energy in there. Yeah. And it made me feel positive. I left there happier. I don't know. So
there's a little bit of a recharge.
Yeah.
It was nice.
So that's always good too. I think disconnecting and doing something else. And I think the music and the vibe. And we walked in and there was a sign on the door, sticky note. It said
"Good vibes only."
Good vibes only. And I was like, you know what? I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
so
good.
sometimes it's those little things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
One of the great pieces of advice I ever got in or outside of comedy, I got it inside of comedy, and it wasn't face to face. I just heard one of my favorite people say it, Patrice O'Neill. Keith Robinson was on a radio show with Patrice, and he asked Patrice, they had been touring for a year, and he says, I hear you do the same stuff all the time, but you do it differently every time. You're trying to figure it out. What is it? And what he said was, what I realized is if I'm having a bad day, I can't pretend to be happy. And if I'm happy, I can't pretend that I'm mad. And he said, I have to learn how to tell my jokes however I feel that day, and that makes them authentic. It keeps me from feeling fraudulent, and it just makes me go. And so, you know, my first year in a comedy, I was dating somebody who pretty consistently every time I left the house would try to make me feel bad. And I had to learn how to use that. And it brought my angst out on stage and my anger and stuff. And then I learned how to be silly too. And it's like taking the emotions and using them to push you forward. But also on the other side of that, in my personal life and business stuff, it's difficult to make decisions when I'm real high or real low.
Yeah,
that's true.
I think any emotional decision, if you're feeling in an emotional state, emotional is such a trigger. It's like a trigger word, but when you're at a high or a low, right,
Sure.
and when you're not at baseline,
Energy.
yeah, that energy affects the decision. If you're too high, right, you're in too good of a spot. You probably can make bad decisions there too. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I
You're
think,
over optimistic.
I think that's where you and I, in business, we do well because we've had so much experience that we know no matter how we feel, we know how to deal with the situation.
Yeah.
You know, you may feel really bad about it or really negative and depressed about whatever the situation is, but we know how to deal with the circumstance and get through it. Yeah.
So I don't know if you have anything to do with like the financial markets or if you the consumer price index that just came out and inflation, but the Fed said something very interesting, which I thought plays right into what we're talking about. The Fed basically said that there's essentially a euphoria and that stocks are going up because people think that they're so optimistic because people are programmed at this point to think that that's what stocks do. Like you put money in the stock market because it goes up. And that's what you're told by investment brokers and investment banks and all these people, right? And so like there's this euphoria that stocks just go up and people have forgotten that they go down. And this was in the the CPI that was just released as part of the Fed's explanation of why the stock market's continued to climb.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be interesting to see when that flips.
I was one of those people. I was at the beach. It was in the pandemic, and I was like, I just got my first stimulus check. I'm going to try to be an adult for a summer. But I got out. I made money. I was like, okay, that's it.
No, I mean, and you will, but over a long period of time, just like anything else, it ebbs and flows.
But
Well, yeah, that's why I got
when it
out.
drops, you buy more.
Yeah, exactly. When it goes on
That's the
sale,
opportunity.
that's
That's
the
the big
time to get in.
opportunity.
My dad always seemed like he knew what he was doing with stocks, and then like I did it, and I was like, hey, what do you think about me putting this much in the stocks, or what do you think I should do? And he's like, oh, I have like no idea. And I'm like, you talked about it your entire life. He's like, yeah, I know, but I don't like. Good luck. Like I was like, what?
funny.
So that's why I got out of there. I was like, oh, okay.
It's one of those moments when you realize your dad doesn't really know anything. He's just like you.
Yeah. Oh my God. Every day.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
When you find out the gods are just as fallible as you, it's like
Just
holy
mere humans like us.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Buy the dip.
Yeah.
That's what your dad should have said. Buy the dip. He could know nothing. He could know dick about stock and just say, hey, I think you should buy the dip, and that's good enough for most people. Like, oh yeah.
I mean, Robin Hood had commercials where it was just buy the dips. That was actually what they said.
I can always tell if I start talking and then I hear something like generic. For me, it's like, oh okay.
Hey, remind me after this. I got to tell you about a stock too.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Tell
This was a good.
Make sure you buy the dip.
buy the dip.
So, but no, I've done. Emotions are a tricky thing, man. Yeah. Relationships and business and everything.
Yeah, in life, that's the hardest part of life, right? But I mean, that's also probably the best part of life.
True. True. Sometimes I like to be low though. Like I love some Morgan Wallen and
Feels good.
Yeah, man. I like to. Music helps with my emotions, man. If I'm feeling it, sometimes it's best for me just to feel it. Like instead of repressing it,
That's a good point.
I'll dive into it and I'll just if music's a good conduit for me, I'll just feel it. And I'm a grown ass man. I've gotten to the point sometimes I'm in tears singing this shit, like just feeling it. Like,
leaning into it's always
lean in, man.
I just recently in the last year started listening to music again. And I know this sounds ridiculous, but I didn't listen to music for a good 10, 15 years. My kid will tell you. They didn't grow up with music in the house. Because every time I listened to it, I just got too emotional. I was like, I can't feel these feelings right now.
Yeah.
I got to feed these fucking kids.
I had to give away, like last year, I had to give away my dog because like my mom, long story, but basically the dog wasn't being taken care of that well.
Oh.
And so, and I couldn't have the dog, but I neglected the dog. It wasn't in a good state. So we had to take it to the vet, all this stuff. So when I had to go drive to where he was being adopted by another family, I was like, I'm just going to play Patsy Cline the entire time while I'm doing this. And it felt really good, but now I can't listen to Patsy Cline anymore. And like that's, once you attach it to something, you're like, oh yeah, fuck, okay.
Yeah.
So
What do you do outside of comedy?
Besides malnourished dogs.
Yeah, for real.
And jerk yourself.
Tobias is doing great.
Tobias is doing great.
Tobias
He
is
did the
doing great.
responsible thing.
He no longer has an ingrown eyelash.
Oh.
He's doing awesome.
Hell yeah.
Rottweiler Husky living in upstate New York for real though.
He
Like
went
I-
to a farm upstate.
There's a
For
picture
real.
of him going on a plane and everything.
That
So
sounds good.
I don't think they put him on a plane if they're gonna.
That's pretty awesome.
That'd be a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, outside, I don't know. I work. I try to live a little life with the lady. I kind of, as of late, hobby-wise, I don't know. I play a lot of video games.
What's your game of choice?
I sound like a really successful person.
That's fine. What's your game of choice?
Game of choice right now, I just got Metroid Dread on. I kind of like got back into video games during the pandemic. I wasn't playing a lot. And then I realized like I need to enjoy, like, I don't know. I was like looking at the things I was doing when I was alone,
Yeah.
and like
Masturbation gets old.
masturbation gets old. And just like, I don't know, I was like watching TV and I was like, I love video games. When I
Yeah.
play. So
If I had to pick between the two, I'd say video games over TV.
yeah.
Now, do you have any opinions about Meta, about Facebook turning into Meta, and this? There's this information that's coming out that's saying that in droves people have become less socially inclined, and they're diving into video games and into VR and all these alternate realities. And then now you got Facebook changing to Meta and creating this metaverse.
Yeah, I am.
I mean, how do you feel? Do you have any thoughts on that? Are you excited? Are you scared?
I bought an Oculus 2 right when it came out.
Yeah, we both have one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I played it a lot for a while. And I was like, I got it for, like, I was excited to try it out. And I also wanted to see, like, how into it would I get.
Yeah.
And I haven't, like, touched it in, like, 5 months.
Yeah, they just did an update
So-
so you don't hit your kids.
Yeah. So
Did you see that?
But I loved it. But I don't know if it's because not a lot of people are jumping into it yet. I had a few friends that have it, and we do, like, VR chat. And that's, like, that's the reason I wanted VR was
Well,
to
surprise, Nick. You're in it right now.
But I don't know. I think every time something like that comes out, people go like, "Oh God, here we go!" Like I don't know. I think you always get surprised how like resistant we are to like really going it all in
But
on
we
it.
still
Yeah.
go into it though.
We
Does
go
it-
It's
into it,
inevitable, I think.
but I think it's like it's not as sudden as people think
oh
it's
no,
gonna
it's,
be.
well,
Like it's sudden, but it's like, all right, I got a VR headset. All my friends did.
yeah,
First 2 months, that was it.
it's
Yeah.
still a little clunky.
It is.
Yeah, but
part of the problem.
Do you remember Mario? Does anybody else remember the Mario headset where you could play tennis? Like I don't even remember. You know what I'm talking about? The Nintendo VR.
I didn't have it, but I was talking about it.
Nobody. I mean, like
Nintendo
this
VR?
was this was like in the 90s.
Yeah,
I have
Damn.
that.
Yeah.
early
It's
90s.
oh shit, I forget what it's called. The View something.
Yes.
the View,
Something
Nintendo
like that.
View or something.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
But anyway, that was 20 plus years ago.
Yeah.
So it's like they've been sitting on this technology, and I remember playing.
it's-
I played this Mario tennis game, and I was like, "This is awesome. This is awesome."
Yeah.
So I like that you actually physically had to move. But Dave and Buster's, I've been spending quite a bit of time doing some research for another business in facilities similar to Dave and Buster's or Dave and Buster's, but they've gotten, depending on which one you go to, they've started to incorporate VR into several of their games.
Yeah.
So a lot of the like first person shooter and that stuff, they've got quite a.
It was it's been like teasing around for so long. Because I remember when I was like a kid, and I went to like the boardwalk like at Myrtle Beach, and they had like a VR game that you're like, oh, put on the headset, and it was like this big.
Yeah.
But it's just like on the boardwalk at Myrtle Beach, and it like I remember being a kid like, this is fucking amazing. But then they were just like, yeah, it's not time yet.
It's still novelty. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was they just teased it for so long.
Apple's supposed to come out with something really incredible in the next year or two. The AR glasses and a VR headset.
Someone brought up that was interesting. You guys might know more about this on the business podcast, but someone told me when I was out in Denver, they were like, yeah, they think the only reason that like Facebook is going into the meta is for like legal reasons, like so it's like a different company in a way where like a lot of because the name changes, it like divides some of the like properties up.
So I'll tell you, go ahead. You can go first.
Well, I was going to say it probably helps them with the monopoly laws, but also they've got a bad name, and they're losing a lot of of market share.
I think that's all true, and I think the other thing that people aren't paying attention to is one. There are, and this is, you can look this up. I mean, it's well known. There are a lot of duplicate and triplicate accounts, right, where people have made multiple users.
Oh yeah. I
don't think that Facebook's user base is what it is, and on top of that, Facebook's user base is aging out. Like they are not getting the younger market. The younger market is not on Facebook unless they're using it to communicate with their mom and dad, and the usage rate is very low in those younger demographics. You know, they're on things like TikTok. I mean, they're on other social media platforms.
They use Instagram though, which is also Facebook.
Yeah. Well, but Instagram's numbers are still not. You know, Twitter is the number one used platform, right? But if you start to look, like and younger demographics, they're not on that as much either. So I mean, I think there's this major shift, and I think Facebook sees the writing on the wall because they've got the analytics they're not going to show us, which is they understand that they have a way to tell what accounts are actually active and being used and how much time is being used, and it's a fraction of the time of some of the most popular apps, like for instance TikTok. And the only reason I bring that up, I've got a girl that works for us yesterday that said something, and she was on a FaceTime call, and her 2-year-old said, "Where's my TikTok?" Now, why you're letting a 2-year-old watch TikTok, I have no idea. Yeah. But she's like, "Yeah, that's the only thing I can."
Where's my TikTok?
Yeah, that's what she's two. She's 2. She says, "Where's my TikTok?" Yeah. I mean, and she wanted her device that she could watch TikTok on, right? Like, but the point though is, I think Facebook sees the writing on the wall. So while they have control, while they have money, while they have, I would say, an overpriced share price right now. I think they're trying to use this opportunity to rebrand, and then you couple that with all the issues they're going through. Yeah. It's a perfect time to do that. And you know, they're a powerhouse. I think they're going to be able to do very well. And most likely what will happen is a small company's going to come up, it's going to do a better job than them, and Facebook will buy them out.
Yeah, for sure.
If they're
probably
smart.
Several.
If they're smart. That's the set.
Did you see the video I just sent you?
Virtual Boy. That looks exactly like it, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Did you see the video I sent you yesterday about the metaverse?
I didn't watch it yet. Yep.
So
that information may change my opinion, but that's
pretty much the same thing.
Is that what it said?
Yeah. Well, we talk about also how you have to be constantly changing your business model anyway to avoid becoming irrelevant.
Look at Sears. I mean, you can look at companies that people thought were never going to go anywhere that are irrelevant now.
Yeah.
But I think
JCPenney.
Yeah.
At once was one of the largest, I think the second or third largest company in the country.
JCPenney's dressed me my whole childhood.
But I think, so there was the Internet, and then there's the Internet 2, and then now they're talking about Internet 3. Like the second, or I guess Internet level 2 or something, whatever they call it, is what we have today with social media. You have all these different social media platforms and YouTube and all this stuff. Like it's all interactive Internet, basically. And so it's the natural progression of or evolution of the Internet. So the next level is all going to be 3D AR stuff. I would imagine in 10 years, all the social media platforms will be accessible through AR and VR. And
for sure.
And it'll be really unusual to go on there just on your phone and an app. You'll probably have some AR glasses that you'll access it through, and then eventually it'll just be in your mind.
Did you guys see the? It's got Ryan Reynolds in it. It just came out. Free Guy.
Yeah, great movie.
Oh, yeah.
I actually, so you threw the glasses on, right? And you're in the game. And spoiler alert if you If you haven't watched it, my bad. Go ahead and shut this off. But anyway, you throw the glasses on, like, so you have these characters in life, and life looks normal like this right here. But when you put the glasses on, you realize you're actually in a game, right? And you can see all the things, like you see the money bags, you see the coins, you see the objectives, like you see all the stuff that you can't see without the glasses on. And so, like, kind of what you're saying, that may be what it becomes. Like, the world we're in right now may be interactive.
I've had that experience on some psychedelics.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, where it's like I'm on the psychedelics and I feel like that's what's real.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
I see the energy and all of that, and then I come back to this, and this is for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, makes sense.
So
We don't know what this is anyway.
true.
It's all
So
information,
you're
so.
pro meta or don't don't care yet.
Sure. I'm going on the record. I am pro meta.
Pro meta.
I'm kind of, I don't know. Let's
Metaverse.
see where
rather,
we
metaverse.
go. It's just like, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like someone's going to do it. You know what I mean? So it's like
They're
you
not
can-
going to be the only one doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, are you going to get, I don't know. I never really get mad at these companies when they like push technology, even if the company is whatever, because it's like, I mean, they're like, if it's not them, it's like someone's going to do it. It's
Yeah.
gonna,
Right. Yeah,
I'm not mad that it's them doing it. I think what I get worried about is a company that has that level of control.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't mean
with censorship and stuff like
with
that.
censorship. And I don't mean if it was a right-leaning company,
Yeah.
I would feel the exact same. I don't care what their political beliefs are, or which way they
It
like.
should be neutral.
It should be
just
neutral.
like a
Yeah,
utility.
like it's a utility for us. It shouldn't.
It's going to be,
It's like that guitar for me. Like that guitar shouldn't have political views. It's literally its utility is to be used as a guitar, right? Or if I want to take it and mash it against the wall, that's my choice too, right? But
Yeah.
I get to use as the user, I get to choose what to do with it.
one thing I think is interesting is like, because like they're doing that thing in on websites, and now like they just did it with YouTube. Is like we're starting to like go into this AR VR world, but now they're also getting rid of like the hate type of stuff online. Like I think today they just got rid of the dislike button on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just got rid of it.
Which is weird.
Really?
Yeah, so you can't see on the video how many dislikes there are, but if you make the video, you can see the dislikes.
Yeah.
But
I
they
don't
just
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't.
it's weird, you know.
Yeah.
I love hitting the dislike button.
Well, I mean, I think that it's important because it's feedback, right?
Yeah.
I want negative feedback too, because what you end up with is a room full of yes men. You end up with
Yeah.
with every
It's
idea you
tribalism.
have
Yeah.
is an awesome idea, and that's not good either.
No.
Yeah, you can see the dislikes, so it'll still be there.
Right.
But like publicly, you can't go on it. But like one of my favorite things is like going to like a new Drake music video and be like, all right, let's, like, I don't know, I enjoy it, but I think it's like for the mental health of like the creator,
Yeah.
and all that.
There's a comedian. I'm going to butcher the whole thing, but I'll give you the point. He's talking about how people criticize on the internet and on YouTube, and it's like Beethoven's symphony, right? If you go to that, there's 20,000 dislikes.
Yeah.
Who
what I'm
found
saying.
it and then decided just fuck this thing?
Yeah.
It's funny.
No, there's the schools, and I hate to pick on California, but I'm going to real quick. California is removing this as well, so they're trying to change how they do math, and so what they're saying is that we don't have equal results, so we're going to change the input, and they don't want you to get a bad grade, right? So they're going to remove testing, right? So it's like we're going to teach things, but we're not going to test to make sure you're efficient at it because we don't like a negative result. It creates a disparagement of outcome. And they don't like that. So, like, that's what I feel like the internet is starting to do. It's like, okay, we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, so we're not going to show that, because I think it's important. Like, if something has a lot of a lot of dislikes, I may not check it out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at that ratio.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Well,
look at the
also,
other way.
you
You
have
go, hey, I want to see what's wrong with this. Why is everybody hating on it?
Yeah.
But that's my choice, right?
You have to figure out what you're good at too.
Exactly.
Like you need negative feedback.
Also,
if you're
like,
bad at
you
something.
can
We might
easily-
not need negative feedback from the entire world, though.
Yeah.
There's just for
Don't
some
put it up
people-
for the world to see, though.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
that's the dance we gotta dance, right? It's like
Well, maybe you have the choice. Maybe I should be able to click a button. If I don't want the negative feedback, maybe I can click a button and I can say, hey,
Like
I
publicly display them.
do not publicly display, which you can do that with views. You can do that with
You can
comments.
do it on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah.
So maybe
Likes,
maybe
yeah.
you just more user permissions. You know.
I think they're trying to create this cushion. I think that's
That's
why
what
it's interesting. It's coming out with like right when VR and AR is coming in.
I think you're right.
'Cause, Like
It's
you're
just
just
an
gonna.
adjustment that needs to be made, I think, and
Yeah, true.
sometimes when you make an adjustment, it's an overreaction. But when you
Yeah,
have
true,
people
true.
on social media who are committing suicide and things like that, and listen,
I agree with that.
that's not let's not say nerf the world, but let's
Well-
make some adjustments for the people
Yeah.
who do need it.
I don't
should
like all the,
definitely
the
separate-
trolling.
We should definitely separate people that are children from adults
I agree
too,
with that, too.
on social
Yeah.
media. 18-year-old or 18 and under shouldn't be able to access anybody over that, and vice versa.
Yeah, like if
I
you're like it scans your eye, and if you're under 18, no porn.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's
Exactly.
That
Well, I don't
era
know.
is
Let's not go
done.
that far. I mean, like,
That
I
era
mean,
is done.
the
Or at
13-year-old
least you have
me
to
is
work
going to be
for it,
highly
right?
upset if that goes.
If that happens, I'm gonna stop making porn mags again.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, I'm
The
going to be
return
back.
of the porn mag.
I'm going to have to teach
I'm more
my kid
concerned
my
about
ways.
social media. But
Yeah. My son's going to be.
There's things worse than porn.
That's true.
And
Yes,
those
yeah.
things are.
Listen, porn is,
those people that are worse than porn aren't the porn stars. They're
That's
just
right.
regular fucking
Right.
people.
Yeah.
I
with
agree.
Bad intentions.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Well, we got to wrap this thing up. But,
That's fun.
All right.
How can people follow you online?
You can follow me on no.Ciaccia on Instagram, and then friend me on Facebook. I don't care. My name is Nick Ciaccia, and come to the greener side last Friday of every month, except for the next 2 months. It's going to be a weird date instead, but
So how can they follow that? It will be on your website or on your.
yeah, you just follow my Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah,
And,
we'll throw the links in the description so people
Yeah.
go support old Nicky Ciaccia.
Can you do something for me?
Yeah.
The next time you make love to your girlfriend, can you
Yeah.
say cha 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 when you get done?
She will leave me, but I might just do it anyway.
And when she's like, "What was that?" and be like, "Daniel had a request."
Who the fuck is Daniel?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Dude, it's been awesome having you on, man. Thanks for
Yeah,
coming on
dude.
the show.
It's awesome.
And,
This is cool.
thanks, man.
Yeah.
And if you guys enjoyed the episode, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next week.
Later, guys.
Bye, guys.
Good job,
Cha cha
everybody.
Horton. We need theme music when I walk in. We should treat this like the WWE man or something. You know, like
Or
yes, yes. Give me hype before I get started.
Dun, 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 dun. Little John Cena.
make someone
It's
dance on the
Mr.
table.
Business.
Should have a little Mr. Business run in.
That would be hilarious.
Mr.
everyone
Money in the
excited.
Bank.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
get your Money in the Bank briefcase.
That's
What was
funny.
the name you put on my coffee yesterday?
Oh, it was creative. Money Cyborg.
Yeah, that's
That's funny.